morning, dear hearts. We are on lesson 323. Please subscribe. But before we do today's lesson, I'm going to read paragraph 4 from our relevant thought. What is creation? We are creation. We, the sons of God, the children of God. We seem to be discrete, meaning we seem to be separate and distinct individuals. But in truth, we are unaware of our eternal unity with Him. We are one with our Father. Yet, back of all our doubts, past all our fears, there still is certainty. For love remains with all its thoughts, its sureness being theirs. We are all the thoughts of God. We have said that before, that there's no separation. We are all one. This is holographic. We are all part of the whole. With all its thoughts, its sureness being theirs. God's memory is in our holy minds, that ancient memory that is mentioned in lesson 306, but in other places as well. But what but Christ's vision could I use today when it can offer me a day which I see a world so like to heaven that an ancient memory returns to me, and this world being as like to heaven was also in lesson 320, that for this to become the reflection of heaven and earth are one. And it is possible. It is possible to have that vision of oneness, because there always was oneness. There always will be oneness. There is no separation in truth between heaven and earth. Heaven is here, we are told. There's no other place. Okay, God's memory is in our holy minds, which know their oneness and their unity with their Creator. Let our function be only to let this memory return. Forgiveness is our function. Salvation is our function. Allowing our willingness to let the memory of God, this ancient memory, come back to us. This is our function now. Only to let God's will be done on earth, only to be restored to sanity, to be but as God created us. And that indeed is salvation. That is the atonement, at one-ment. That is bringing all together, that we seem to be separate beings. We seem to be different. But in truth, our function is to have the salvation come through us, to accept the atonement for ourselves, and to see that in truth there is only oneness. There are no separate parts and pieces. There is oneness. There is wholeness. There is the certainty of that wholeness, because this is what God would have us understand, and that creation is the opposite of all illusions, and creation is what is real and true. Today's lesson, 323, is I gladly make the sacrifice, big air quotes, of fear. And here is the only, again, air quotes, of sacrifice you ask of your beloved Son. This is all our Father wants for us. You ask Him to give up all suffering, all sense of loss and sadness, all anxiety and doubt, and freely let your love come streaming in to His awareness, healing Him of pain and giving Him your own eternal joy. Such is the sacrifice you ask of me, and one I gladly make. The only cost, of air quote, cost, of restoration of your memory to me for the salvation of the world. I came for the salvation of the world. Salvation of the world depends on me. My holiness is my salvation. Salvation comes from my one true self. And only God's plan will work. This is God's plan, for us to sacrifice fear. Give it up entirely. It is nothing that we ever truly wanted. If we step back and we look at it, stepping back will come into tomorrow's lesson, but if we step back and look at it, did we ever want to be afraid? Did we ever want something that would cause us pain and suffering, that would give us uncertainty, loss, sadness? Did we ever really want that? No, I think we want the opposite of all of that. Would I prefer to be right or happy? Well, I'm going to choose happiness. But in the lesson, the let your love come streaming into His awareness, that for me, that gives the visual of the great rays shining down from the heavens into my awareness, and that I can truly see them. Now, in truth, all of this is within, but very often we need to see this outside of us to know that it is within. It's just the same as the giving and receiving. I have to realize that I have received before I can give. I have to realize that these great rays of God's love are within me so that I may see them. And what do I want to do? But to give them away, to release myself of all pain and all fear. Now there's a fable from Aesop that I have used in the past with the lion with the thorn in his paw, and he's in great pain and he cannot get it out himself. But here comes his savior. It's a mouse, and he asks the mouse for help. Now, if the mouse helps the lion, will the lion then eat the mouse? No, because the lion is so grateful to his savior that he treats the mouse with great respect, realizing that that mouse was how he relieved himself of all the pain that he was having. The ego is like a thorn within our mind that we are trying to relieve ourselves of it. So we will make that sacrifice of fear. We will make that sacrifice of pain. We will make that sacrifice of the ego because we never truly have wanted it to begin with. The second part of today's lesson is the text portion, and it says, "And as we pay the debt we owe to truth, a debt that merely is the letting go of self-deceptions and of images we worship falsely." Everything that we worship falsely, all those illusions brought to us care of the ego, we release them. We're ready to sacrifice them. Truth returns to us in wholeness, because truth can only be whole, and in joy, and truth is always joyful. We are deceived no longer. Love has now returned to our awareness, just as yesterday's lesson said that we can anticipate the loss of fear and the return of love into my mind. So love has now returned to our awareness, and we are at peace again, for fear has gone and only love remains. And that's it. Let only have love remain within our minds and within our hearts today. And then we extend it to everyone that we come in contact with. It's that sharing of God's love that, one, lets us know that we have it, and two, is the healing that we can participate in of this very tired and weary world. So I hope that helped. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please comment, please smile, please pray, please breathe. I know the instructions have gotten long, and please be here tomorrow. Namaste.